Sri Gurubhyo Namaha children. We welcome to our online learning initiative Ekalaiva. Yesterday we discussed about globalization and trade and about various East India companies we discussed. Today we are going to discuss about globalization in India. In India, the period after 1980 to 81 was marked by severe balance of payment difficulties, mainly due to hike in oil price and Gulf War in 1990 to 91, and also hostilities in West Asia. So when the new government took over in June 1991, India had unprecedented balance of payment crisis. The finances of the central and state government had reached a situation of near bankruptcy. So, with the downgrading of India's credit rating by some international agencies, there was heavy flight of capital out of India. So, since India lost its credit worthiness in the international market, the government even mortgaged 40 tons of gold to the Bank of England. Under these circumstances, the government for 1991 to 92 presented its budget in July 1991 with a series of policy changes which underlined globalization, liberalization, and privatization. So, this has come to be called as New India's economic policy. This policy strengthened India. Various reforms were made to adopt a globalization, abolition of industrial licensing, except for few industries, reduction in the number of industries reserved for public sector, foreign private sector by making rupee convertible on trade, foreign exchanges regulations, and then SLR. SLR means statutory liquidity ratio. In our previous chapter, we discussed about this in detail, isn't it? Now we are going to discuss about MNC. MNC is nothing but multinational corporation. So multinational corporation, it is a corporate organization which owns and controls production of goods and services in at least one country other than its home country. It is also called transnational corporation, that is TNC, and also called multinational enterprise, that is MNE. Like East India Company, which came to India as a trading company, and then it knit throughout the country to become politically dominant. These multinationals first started their activities in extractive industries or control raw materials in the host countries during 1920s and then slowly entered the manufacturing and service sector after 1950s. Most of the MNCs at present belong to the four major exporting countries, namely USA, UK, France, Germany. However, the largest is American. A common form of MNC participation in Indian industry is through entering into cooperation with Indian industrialists. Trends of liberalization in the year 1980s gave a substantial to foreign collaboration. Now we are going to discuss about the reasons for the growth of MNC, expansion of market territory, marketing superiorities, financial superiorities, technological superiorities, and product innovations. First one, if we take expansion of market territory, as the operations of large-sized firm expand, it seeks more and more extension of its activities beyond the physical boundaries of the country in which it is in corporate. Second topic is marketing superiorities. A multinational firm enjoys a number of marketing superiorities over the national firms. So it enjoys market reputation and faces less difficulty in selling its products. It adopt more effective advertising and sales promotion techniques also. Next one, financial superiorities. It has financial resources and a high level of funds utilization. It has easier access of external capital markets. So because of its international reputation, it is able to raise more international resources. Technological superiorities. The main reason why MNCs have been encouraged by the underdeveloped countries to participate in their industrial development is on account of the technological superiorities which these firms possess as compared to national companies. Product innovation. MNCs have research and development engaged in the task of developing new products and superior designs for existing products. So these are all the various reasons for the growth of MNCs. We have certain advantages as well as some disadvantages of this MNC. Some advantages are producing the same quality of goods at lower cost and without transaction cost. And MNC reduce prices and increase the purchasing power of consumers worldwide. And it is able to take advantage of tax variation and it increase job growth in the local economy. Now some disadvantages are they are a way for the corporations to develop a monopoly for certain products. They are also a detrimental effect on the environment. The introduction of MNC into a host country's economy may also lead to the downfall of smaller and local business. So these are all some of the disadvantages of the MNC. Now we are going to discuss about fair trade. Fair trade is a way of doing business that ultimately aims to keep small farmers an active part of the world marketplace, and it also aims to empower consumers to make purchases that support their values. So fair trade it is a set of business practices voluntarily adopted by the producers and buyers of agricultural commodities and handmade crafts that are designed to advance many economic, social and environmental goals. So, raising and stabilizing the incomes of small scale farmers, farm workers, and artisans, promoting safe and sustainable farming methods and working conditions. Now, we are going to discuss some of the principles of fair trade organization. Creating opportunities for economically disadvantaged producers, transparency and accountability, fair trading practices and payment of a fair price, ensuring no child labor and forced labor, commitment to non-discrimination, gender equity and freedom of association, providing capacity building and promoting fair building and respect for the environment. So these are all the various principles of fair trade organization. Next one we are going to discuss about GATT. It is nothing but General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. GATT was signed by 23 countries in the year 1947. India was also one of the founder members of the of GATT. In the seventh round, 99 countries participated, and in the eighth round, that is in 1986, it is also known as Uruguay round, 117 countries participated. So the Director General of GATT, that is Arthur Dunkel, he came up with a draft final act known as Donkey Draft. It was approved and signed. So GATT's primary purpose was to increase international trade by reducing various tariffs, quotas, and subsidies while maintaining meaningful regulation. Our next topic is WTO. WTO is World Trade Organization. The signing of final act of the Uruguay round by member nations of GATT in April 1994 paved the way for setting up of the WTO, that is World Trade Organization. An agreement to this effect was signed by 104 members. The WTO agreement came into force from January 1, 1995. So the present membership countries of WTO is 164 countries and its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. The main objectives of WTO are to set and enforce rules for international trade, to provide a forum for negotiating and monitoring further trade liberalization, and to dissolve trade disputes, introduction at the sustainable development and environment together, and to ensure that developing countries secure a better share of growth in world trade, and to resolve trade disputes and transparency in decision making processes, introduction of sustainable development, and also to ensure full employment. These are all the various objectives of WTO. Now we are going to discuss about impacts of globalization. Globalization has both positive effects as well as negative effects. First, we will discuss about some positive effects of globalization. A better economy introduces rapid development of the capital market. Standard of living has increased. Globalization rapidly increased better trade so that more people are employed. Introduce new technologies and new scientific research patterns. Globalization increasing the GDP of a country. It helps to increase in free flow of goods and also to increase foreign direct investment and development of infrastructure, international cooperation. These are all the positive effects of globalization. Some negative effects are too much flow of capital among countries, introduces unfair and immoral distributors of income. Another fear of losing national integrity because of too much exchange of goods, independent domestic policies are lost. Rapid growth of the economy has required a major infrastructure and resource extraction, so this increased negative ecological and social costs. So rapid increases in exploitation of natural resources to earn foreign exchange. Environmental standards and regulations have been relaxed. These are all the various negative effects of globalization. Now, challenges of globalization. The benefits of globalization extend to all countries. That will not happen automatically. The fear that globalization leads to instability in the developing world. and the industrial world that increased global competition will lead in race to the bottom in wages, labor rights, and employment practice, and it leads to global imbalance. Globalization has resulted with some embarrassment, and it has led to an increase in activities such as child labor and slavery, and people started consuming more junk food. So this caused degradation of health and spread of diseases. Globalization has led to various environmental degradation. Okay, children, in this lesson we discussed about globalization and we discussed about some organizations, impacts of globalization and challenges of globalization. Thank you, children.